want to do a quick review on a book that has nothing to do with what's going on in the world right now. I just randomly happened to have read it, and it absolutely is not relatable to any actual world news content. No, wait, this is just a fictional book that I rated 5 stars and cannot believe it took me my entire life to read it. I just read Animal Farm. I feel like half of you are either like, how have you not read that for school yet? And the other half is like ready to scroll away. Please stay for just a moment. I feel like everyone needs to read this book. Obviously, it's for the most part required reading in school. The way that my high school did it is it like flipped every other year. So I read 1984 for my year when George Orwell was like required reading in English. And then the grades opposite of me read Animal Farm, or it was based on teachers. I don't really know. Either way, I read 1984 and not Animal Farm, and for the longest time, I had been putting this book off because I thought it was going to be an intimidating classic. I had no idea how easy it was to read. So if you're intimidated by the fact that this is a classic and read for school, don't be. It's just about 100 pages. I read this in an afternoon. I tabbed stuff, and the last line, oh my God, if you've read this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I didn't realize how relatable this would be. It was definitely relevant and relatable when George Orwell wrote this book almost 100 years ago with what was going on and the climate of everything in the world. I wonder how he would feel knowing that reading this in 2025, it still unfortunately feels relatable. Yeah, not the best feeling. It was actually kind of terrifying to read. It's basically a fairy tale for adults. It takes place on a farm where animals decide to rebel against the humans. And if you don't want to read into any of that, that's all that it's really about. But if you do want to read into things, oh my gosh, I can't believe how well this was done in such simplest terms. I'm probably the last person on earth that hasn't read this book, but I do feel like it hits different when you're reading this for yourself and not for class. Like if I did read this in 10th grade, I don't think I would have gotten anything out of this book, but because I read this on my own, I'm able to relate to it and understand the intensity of what is really behind the story. And I've tabbed so many parts of this, like it's crazy. The last sentence, I wish I could tell you what it is because my jaw on the floor. The last sentence was just like, oh my God, how did he nail that? Because it makes me think of some people. Yeah, everything made sense when I read this. So if you're trying to either up your reading goal to read more books this year, read more classics, read more of like the top whatever books, I have like a scratch off in my office of like 100 books to read, and this is definitely on there as one of the classics. Highly recommend adding this to your list. Again, I read this in an afternoon and I want to discuss it with everyone. Like I almost wish I was in an English class where I could discuss this right now because I'm on such a high from reading this. Absolutely nothing to do with what's going on right now. It's just a fairy tale, basically a fantasy book. Check it out.